It's a Wednesday evening, and once again, welcome to Business Live. My name is Emmanuel Abwaji Yafe. Coming up in this edition, inflation continues to record a downward trend as the rate for the month of July has dropped to 16.7%. Ghana Investment Promotion Center GIPC says attraction of investments into the country for this year has not been affected by upcoming elections. And on the Joy Business Van tonight, app developer Francis Kofiba becomes CEO of startup company Human Foods. He shares his story of selling business donuts on the Business Van. Those are the headlines for tonight, and you can keep interactive with us by tweeting at Joy Business GH is our handle, by Facebooking Joy Business is our page, and for more business news updates, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Taking a quick break, the details follow shortly.
Business Live today is brought to you by GCB Bank.
Thank you very much for staying, and welcome back to Business Live. Now to our very first story. Inflation continues to record a decline as the rate for the month of July dropped to 16.7%. This represents a 1.7 percentage points reduction from the 18.4% recorded in the previous month of June. This means even though the general price levels of goods and services remain high, that rate of increase in the month of July was lower than in June. The drop has been attributed primarily to the relative stability in the cedi value and the drop in the food prices. Here is the government statistician Dr. Philomena Nyaku explaining further at a news conference just a while ago.
We are saying that in July 2016, the year-on-year inflation rate was 16.7% compared with the 18.4% recorded in June 2016. The monthly change rate in July 2016 was 0.9%, while that for June 2016 was 1.3%. The main price drivers for the non-food inflation rate were education, 35.4%, recreation and culture, 28.3%, transport, 27.2%, housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels, 25.4%, clothing and footwear, 24.3%, and furnishings, household equipment and routine maintenance, 23.0%. For the food inflation rate, the price drivers were vegetables, 12.0%, oils and fats, 11.7%, mineral water, soft drinks, fruit and vegetable juices, 10.9%, coffee, tea and cocoa, 10.2%, fruits, 9.7%, and meat and meat products, 9.3%. At the regional level, we saw that two regions, that's Greater Accra and Ashanti, recorded inflation rates higher than the national average of 16.7%. The Greater Accra recorded the highest year-on-year inflation rate of 21.3%, followed by the Ashanti region with 18.0%, while the Upper East region recorded the lowest inflation rate of 10.7%.
So at the regional level, Upper East region recorded the lowest rate of inflation at 10.7%, while the Greater Accra region recorded the highest at 21.3%. Ashanti region also recorded a rate above the national average of 16.7%. Now moving on, attraction of investments into the country for this year has not been affected by the upcoming elections. That is the conclusion that one draws after going through the second quarter Ghana Investment Promotion Center records. There's more in the following report.
Some economists that because of uncertainty surrounding the elections, a lot of foreign firms would hold on to their capital. Some of these reports had projected most of the capital will come in from next year, when it would be clear who will be managing the economy for the next 4 years. But the latest GIPC report covering investments from April to June shows that investments brought into the country by foreigners shot up by 400% to $1.41 billion. This represents a significant increase over the last quarter of this year and even the same period in 2015. The Ghana Investments Promotion Center is projecting that over 4,000 jobs will be created from these investments. Majority of these projects will be located at Greater Accra, whilst the services sector would attract most of the projects. China tops the list in terms of having the highest projects registered in the country. The report by GIPC confirms reports by Joy Business that the upcoming elections may not have any negative impact on the economy.
Now, the Bank of Ghana is working to increase the minimum capital requirements that every commercial bank must meet in order to operate in the country. This is one of several measures the regulator is considering as it looks at ways to limit number of banks in operations and improve their financial position. So what could be the impact of this action on banks and even your deposits? George Rafi has more.
Joy Business is learning that the move has been influenced by the increasing number of requests from commercial banks to be granted waivers to finance certain projects in the country beyond a fraction of their minimum capital. Sources say the regulator is worried about this development and the number of applications at its end from several financial institutions wanting to operate as a commercial bank. Joy Business understands the minimum capital could be increased to about 300 million Ghana cedis from the current 120 million Ghana cedis for existing ones, with the exception of those banks that have been granted waivers to still operate with 60 million cedis. Joy Business is learning that the action will be implemented after extensive deliberations with all stakeholders in the industry. This means that if the Bank of Ghana settles on additional capital raising, it may not come as a surprise to those in the industry. Sources say, unlike previous instances where the central bank just signaled its intention to increase the capital, this time round it appears the regulator is serious about it. There are currently about 30 commercial banks in the country, with the latest entrant being Sovereign Bank. However, with more applications on Bank of Ghana's table and with some 3 institutions set to attain their full banking license very soon, the number could increase to about 33 before the end of this year. So what will be the implications of well-capitalized banks in the country on the economy and businesses? Well, for some analysts, it could lead to financing of more projects and even bigger ones in the country, especially those in the oil and gas sector. It could also force most of these banks to increase credit to individuals and businesses. The capital increase, if it happens, might also lead to some expansion drive by some of the banks into new areas in Ghana and even to other West African countries, just like what happened in Nigeria some time ago, which resulted in a lot of banks from that country coming to Ghana. This could lead to more employment opportunities in the industry for graduates coming out of our universities as the banks strive for more personnel to aid their growth.
This is live on Business Live with me, Emmanuel Abuaji Rafi. Now, in 2010, the National Pensions Act, Act 766, was established and it made provisions under the Tier 3 Voluntary Personal Pension Scheme to cater for the peculiar needs of workers and guarantee their retirement security. What is the current rate of workers joining the scheme, the Tier 3 pension scheme? And of course, to answer these and other questions, we have the General Manager of Pen Trust, Victoria Ama, in the studio here with me to tell us more. Good evening, madam, and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Now, tell us a little about the Tier 3 pension scheme and your role as a trustee, how you come here.
Okay, so the Tier 3 pension scheme is a voluntary pension scheme, okay, and the rationale for bringing up that scheme is to ensure that people have additional, or contributors have additional retirement income when they go on retirement. We already have the Tier 1, which is managed by Smith. We have the Tier 2, which is managed by trustees, and then there's also the Tier 3, which is managed by trustee. So the idea is that when you retire, you take your monthly pensions from Smith, you get your lump sum from tier 2 from the corporate trustee, then also you have a voluntary retirement package also from the trustee. So at the end of the day,
which means
it is
may or may not join the scheme.
you may or may not join. It is voluntary, but we do always encourage clients or employers to ensure that they sign their employees up onto this kind of package, because two things I always say. Number one, your employees will thank you for it, and when I say your employees will thank you for it, what it really means is that they will stay loyal to you most of the time. The times that we have tried it has worked. You know, when the employee knows that, well, my employer is not really obliged to do this for me, but he has decided to do this for me, and so I am loyal to him.
Alright, so since 2010, when it was established, what is the level of interest among workers joining onto coming into the scheme?
Well, the level of interest, you can say, is pretty low, but it is largely because the awareness is equally low. The awareness of the entire pension, environment, new pension environment has been really, low. Now, people were really used to Smith is managing my pension. When I go on retirement, I'll go and collect whatever there is that I have, without really asking questions, without really going. So when this new law came up, much as a regulator tried to educate people, much as players in the industry have tried to educate people, we still reckon that education is really, really low.
So as a trustee, what do you actually do with the funds of workers?
Well, these funds are invested. They are invested strictly according to the investment guidelines provided for us by the regulator. The regulator makes for us or provides for us very clearly and specific investment instruments into which all of these monies should be invested in. So that is what we follow very strictly.
I have not heard personally of any trustee company engaging itself in an annual general meeting, and we did it for the first time. What were some of the highlights that came up at the meeting?
Okay, well, even before I talk to you about the highlights, I'd like to tell you what even informed the decision, because you just said you've not heard anybody. Well, it's true, the law does not require us to hold an annual general meeting. And truth is that if you look at the margins we make as trustees, I mean, nobody really want to put that burden on their head. But we told ourselves that, well, we got to start from somewhere to be accountable to the people whose monies we are managing, and then more importantly, to be as transparent to them as possible. And so today, when we met at our annual general meeting, importantly, we told them about the performance of the fund, what we've been doing with their monies, what we have invested in, how much returns we have made in the process, what fees we have paid, and what is left. There are people who join the scheme and there are people who exit the scheme. So an overview of who joined, who left, and what has happened. So both for the tier 3 and the tier 2 scheme, that is what we did. And then of course there are industry updates that we need to share with them. For instance, there is an amendment to the new Act 766, which is Act 83, and essentially it says that people who were 50 years as at 2010, we should ensure that they take their retirement benefits from Smith. Originally they were in our scheme, and so we are supposed to move their benefits to Smith. Now these are things that you need to let them know. Much as we called, we sent SMSs when the new law was passed and all that, I think today was really new to most of them when we were giving them those industry updates.
Any hint of any products that you launched or relaunched?
We actually relaunched the tier 3 product, because I mean, as I told you earlier, we noticed that the awareness was so low. And so today when we relaunched it, it was as though, well, we've never had this, even though it's been there since 2013. And so that's really one of the key products, or the key product that we really launched today.
So moving on, what next for Pentrust and industry?
Well, moving on, what next for the industry itself is that we are expecting growth. Pension it's a long-term investment. And so yes, first few years, we've done well by returning something good, but we think that the funds could grow even better. And so going forward, really, we are looking for growth, and we are looking for more participation, and we are looking for regulator support so that we are able to do for our clients what it is that we...
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you, man.
Victoria Alma is the General Manager of Pentrust. Thanks for staying and welcome back. Now, if you crave it and can't have it, then create it. That's a popular saying. Well, that seems to be what moved Francis Kofiga, an app developer, to start the business of selling donuts. 3 months down the line, he is the CEO of a startup company, Doman Foods. Now he believes he made one of the greatest decisions of his life. The Joy Business Van heads to Jolu, where he operates from, to hear the full story.
Business Van is brought to you by Busy, making good things happen.
Donuts fast gaining popularity. On our way to meet Francis Kofiga, the man behind Doman Foods. It's a very busy day for Francis. He and his team have got to make 400 pieces of donuts today. What's curious though is how an app developer got into the business in the first place.
I get asked that question several times. A special friend got me donuts, and the donuts tasted really good. So I asked for donuts a second time, and the next time when she was come, she said, "Oh, the donuts were out of stock." So then I thought, what time did you, I asked her what time did she go? She said, I went there in the morning around 9 a.m. And I thought that if the donuts finish at 9 a.m. and they tasted this good, then means there's an opportunity in there. So then I started, I did some research into how to make donuts. I got a team together and then we started.
Doman got off to a slow start. The challenge at the beginning was getting people to patronize.
First day we were wondering how are we going to sell this. We had a post on Facebook, and I wanted to know how our customers were going to take it. So we got these paper bags, we put them inside, and then we decided going around to shops, and we had these nice donuts we buy, really tasty. People wanted to taste it. Some said maybe come tomorrow, and some said I'll try it and see. And we got several rejections in the beginning because they didn't know the brand.
Do you feel like giving up then?
I did. I felt I was using too much money to produce donuts, and people were just tasting them and weren't paying for it. But eventually, when we got to social media and we started maybe targeting certain friends, and they placed orders, and we took it. And that's when the business we started doing.
And growing, it has grown fast. Francis is even himself surprised at how quick Doman has flourished in just 3 months.
So, what is it about Doman donuts that makes it sell? Because I get to see it a lot on social media, and I'm wondering, come on, there's got to be something about this.
To answer you, taste and see. Yes.
Can I?
Yes.
All right. But you're going to have to taste with me. Let's see.
Tell me what you think.
I haven't tasted this in a while.
Awesome.
It's awesome, yeah. It is.
Francis knew he'd be an entrepreneur one day, but never did he think he would be selling donuts. He's found a new passion, and he's going to take it very serious. His business could well be Ghana's Dunkin' Donuts.
At the moment, we have the sugar-coated ones and then the jam-injected ones, and we are going to introduce the chocolate fillings, the hazelnut fillings, that will keep our customers coming back for more.
Okay, tell you what, this is so amazing. I've been cooked up donuts this cool in a while. It's very great. And it was good having you on the Joy Business Park.
400 pieces of donuts done, ready to be delivered.
The Joy Business Van was brought to you by Busy, making good things happen.
Interesting goodies on the Joy Business Van every Wednesday. Meanwhile, you can watch a repeat of the Joy Business Van on the marketplace tomorrow at 1 p.m. on this same channel, and also track the story on our website myjoyonline.com/business. It's now time for our busy bits.
Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet program. So what's a spreadsheet? For anyone with an old-fashioned accounting background, you might know a spreadsheet as a large piece of paper called a ledger that you use to track income and expenses. In more modern computer terms, A spreadsheet is better defined as a document that stores data in a grid of rows and columns. Excel can be a pretty powerful tool for quickly sorting, calculating and analyzing data, making charts and graphs, and creating simple databases.
That's our Basic Bits Corner. It's now time for the interview of the day.
The President of Ghana has put together a package for young people 18 to 35 called the Youth Enterprise Support Program, where young people can get support 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, up to 50,000 to do various kinds of businesses, investments. There's Maslow, which also can give them various kinds of support. There's the National Board for Small Scale Industries, the Rural Enterprises Program, which can give them some support. For larger companies, there's the Export Development and Agricultural Investment Fund, which is now an Exim Bank, which also can give them support. Export Import Bank helps you to export. So really, we don't have as many excuses as we like to create for ourselves for not growing, processing, adding value, packaging, drying, storing, fruiting, juicing, and exporting.
And of course, that's how we wrap up for tonight's edition of Business Live, which always comes to you on this channel right at this time. With me, Emmanuel Apwaji. If you join again, same time tomorrow for another interesting edition. And of course, you can tweet by send comments, of course, by tweeting at JoyBusinessGH, by Facebooking Joy Business, and by logging on to myjoyonline.com/business for more business news updates. Good evening and keep watching.